Stampin' friends, it's TxStampin Sharon. I am going to give you a little sneak peek for something that is in the holiday catalog that starts September 4th. So we have a few more days, but I was so excited about this card and I wanted to share it with you because you need to add this stuff to your wish list. If you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. And if you would like to, you can hit the subscribe button below, hit the little notification bell. You'll be notified when I upload my next video. Let's make this card. Here's the outside of the next holiday catalog from Stampin' Up. It goes live on the 4th of September and the ordering period is until January the 2nd. So you have some time to get your favorites out of here, but I can't open it up yet. But like I said, there's some fun favorites in here, punches, and you're just gonna love it. So I'm gonna share with you today a suite called Gather Together. I love the papers, I love it all. But anyway, I wanted to share with you that this is one of the patterns for the designer series paper. Very unusual. It's not your typical orange. This is more of a green stripe. This is Pretty Peacock with some leaves on it. Keep in mind, those masculine cards that are always so hard to make. Here we go. There you go. That's going to be a good one. And here's another one. Okay, so really pretty, very, very masculine in my opinion. Here's some more different pumpkins. They're not orange. And I'm showing you the front side and the back side, just so you know what I'm doing. All right, so here's this pattern. And this is actually the pattern that I'm using on today's card. And I did a little class in my studio last week where they made this card. So I only have one sheet of the paper. So I'm gonna flip it over. More masculine look there, okay? And then this to me looks almost like a linen. I don't know, it's really pretty. It's hard to see, I'm sure, on the camera. And then this color, the leaves. And then we have our gingham. Love it. Okay. All right. This pack of paper is called Come Together Designer Series Papers. Here's the card that we're going to make today. It's got copper. It has copper. It has lots of copper, and I can't wait to share all the copper stuff with you today. Here's the stamp set, Gather Together. And it has the matching dies, so it will cut everything out very nice and easy. Copper ink. No way. Boy, was I excited. I love my copper, and I am so excited to have this. Here's some other elements to the card. They're these little wooden elements, and you have feathers. Remember that feather paper. So you have feathers and then you have tree trunks, okay? So I want to give you a little tip on the tree trunks. You're just going to pop these out. The tree trunks actually have like little ridges. They're real subtle, but it's enough that when I just stamped with my black memento, it didn't give me a good image. So we're going to go over the best way to get a good image on that element today. Hammered Embossing Folder. Oh my gosh, have I gone nuts? Let me show you what I've done. So I embossed the piece for today's card. There's my copper. And then as I was looking for my copper, well, let's see what it looks like with the silver and the gold and the pretty peacock. Oh boy, I'm in trouble. Now wait, look, it's black. This looks like leather. I mean, it's going to go on a masculine card. So watch for a video using that. Probably all of them because I want to see what they all look like. We're going to be using this dual pack of ribbon. This is going to be your favorite. It is so soft and easy to tie. It's got a beautiful sheen to it. And it comes as a combo. So it has the coordinating Cajun Craze thread that goes with that. I have all the pieces to my card. My card base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. I am using Whisper White Thick because it just makes that card feel so good. I have a layer of Cajun Craze that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. I have my hammered metal that is 3 3/4 long, and just use your strips, your scraps that you have. That's all I did. This might be 2 inches. I don't know. I just picked up a piece that I had and then just trimmed it down the way I needed it. There's that Pumpkin Designer Series paper, and I'm going to tell you, maybe it's just my old eyes, but I couldn't tell what the pattern was, so don't put it on upside down. It's pumpkins, little white pumpkins. And then I have a piece of scrap paper that we're going to do some stamping on. I've already cut out 2 of the leaves that I'm going to be using, and we're going to stamp the big leaf together, and I want to talk to you about it. So first and always, you want to do your embossing buddy. And then we're going to ink this up. And I will tell you, this ink takes a long time to dry. And when I was making the card, I wanted to see what this ink looked like. It's a very subtle, let me just show you, it's a very subtle copper. It's not as bold or dark as the one with the copper embossing powder. So I didn't want to pour embossing powder on it, but can you see that sheen? It's just a metallic copper look. Oh, it's gorgeous, guys. So I opted instead to use, and this is an old container, please forgive me, I still use it. I wish they still sold powders like this. I just opted to use the clear embossing powder so that I could just heat set it and still see that metallic look shining through. Okay, and now we're going to use the dies to cut it out. So here it is, all cut out. It's a very subtle copper, and I wanted to show the comparison if I poured copper embossing powder over it, just the difference in how dark it was. So like I said, I opted to let this pretty metallic shine through, but you could add copper powder to it, you know, either way. Let's talk about our little element. You still want to use an embossing buddy. It's not paper, but I'm assuming it has static in it. I don't know. I didn't want to take a chance. And I'm going to go ahead, since my pad is out for the copper, I'm going to go ahead and use it, but you could use Versamark. I just recommend that you use a juicier ink. Don't use Memento. It does not work. Let me show you. Here it is. Can you see how it's not real clear? I didn't like it. Okay, that Memento is just not juicy like our regular stamp pads, the craft pads, things like that. So we're going to stamp. Whoops. Okay, can't see it very well. Okay, it's real subtle. So I decided, first of all, let's put our cover back on. I did a no-no a while ago. I never like to pour powders when I've got an ink pad open. We're going to use the actual copper embossing powder because we really want those words to show up. And then we're going to heat it. I shared with you that I already had cut out my copper leaves. I want to share a tip. I have shared this on several videos, but I want to make sure that you know if you're watching this video and you're new to my channel. I'm going to use the Take Your Pick tool, and I'm using the end that is like a paper piercer. By the way, just a little quick intro of this. This has a little scoop on one end that you can use, like to scoop up maybe some glitter or something. And then on the other end, there is a Take Your Pick tool that would pick things up. That's a little heavy. We'll do our leaf. See, picks it up. So it's just like a little sticky putty, and then you just advance it when you need more. I don't have my brush, but there's also a brush that is good for using with your die cutting machine to get those bits and pieces out of any of your dies that are like real intricate detailed. Okay, so the tip I want to share, and I've already kind of started it just in case I have a problem, is, yeah, we're going to use it here, is take your paper piercer and you just want to get that started. The copper is the only one that has a plastic backing. Can you see that plastic? So cutting through that plastic it's tough. It's really, I mean, you'll struggle with it and you'll go, why isn't this cutting all the way through? It's because of that plastic. So you can still use the foil just fine. I always recommend cutting a piece of foil that's as big as your framelit so that you don't waste the copper, because the copper, I think it's really a little bit thicker than our other foils, but the copper would show the impressions from your plates. If you're afraid of that, you could always lay a piece of cardstock on top of your framelit and run it through so that the scratches from your plate don't dent your copper foil. More tips. I love sharing tips. Do you guys love tips? Okay, so we're going to add our layers together. I'll give you a few more tips. So when we're adding our paper, remember I told you, don't do it upside down, do it this way. I'm going to take my piece of copper and I'm just kind of eyeballing it that I have about 1/4 of an inch at the top and 1/4 of an inch on each side. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the paper because we are only going to wrap our ribbon around these two pieces, not all of it, okay? So what I want to do, well, here first, let me do this. I know that if you watch any of my videos, I always tell you to use liquid glue if you're ever adhering anything that's embossed or anything to something embossed, but we just need a temporary hold so that we can flip this paper over. Let me line it up again. Just so you know, I'm lining it up here and so that I have about 1/4 of an inch at the bottom. I'm just going to press that just so it stays together. See? Again, do as I say, not as I do. I want to add the ribbon, and I am going to use some glue, some liquid glue, because I don't want this piece to pop up, and that's why I like to use the liquid glue. But I also need my ribbon to attach to the back, and the liquid glue, it kind of slips sometimes. I actually did this card on a Facebook Live, and it was like, oh boy, it slipped and it wasn't as taut. So I'm just going to measure, I'm going to cut about 5 inches, maybe 4.5 of the ribbon. And then I want to turn it over. And where this line is, I want to cover it up with the ribbon. I don't want to waste the ribbon and tie it all the way around. So I just needed to stick to that snail that's on the back like that. And now, speaking of snail, I'm going to go ahead and add some more adhesive. Snail, by the way, is a double-sided adhesive. If you don't know what it is, if you're new to Stampin' Up, that comes out in this little thing that kind of looks like a little snail. You know, I guess that's why it's named that. I don't know. I think it stands for something. Something tape. I'll have to go look that up. There. Now my ribbon is nice and taut, and I don't have to worry about it buckling. And now we're ready to start adding our embellishments. And I'm actually going to add this. I'm going to put some snail on the back, not only to adhere it to my card front, but to add my other leaves kind of tucked behind it. And you know, I've made 3 of these cards so far. So I think what I'm going to do with this one is I actually want, hold on. I actually want to add one of the leaves on the front. Let's show some more copper, right guys? Yeah, let's do that. Oh yeah, now I'm happy. All right, so then we're just going to add some more snail to those leaves. And then we're going to take it back over to our card. And we're going to add it right here, like that. And then we're going to pull in our embellishment, and we're going to use the linen, the Cajun Craze linen thread, and we're going to tie a bow. I always like to leave my threads and my ribbon on the bolt so that if I don't get enough, I can undo it and I didn't waste this piece. I'm going to just pull it like this, make a cute little bow, cut it, and then kind of trim it to eyeball. There we go. You guys know what a fan I am if you've watched any of my videos of dimensionals, and not necessarily do I need to use what I'm getting ready to use on this, but in the holiday catalog, there's black dimensionals. I'm thrilled. You know, sometimes you're using dark colored cardstock and you can see that white dimensional peeking through. So, like I said, it doesn't really matter on this because with this embellishment, you can't really see behind. But I wanted to share with you that it's here. Not just for Halloween projects, you can use it on all your dark cardstock. I'm just going to add that, and we're done. Those who know me know that I love my copper. I'm so glad that you tuned in and spent some time out of your day to watch this video. And I just want to say happy stamping, y'all.